There's the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, the SEC pulling back on essentially every lawsuit. There's progress on stablecoin legislation. There's talk of market structure legislation. There was the White House Crypto Summit. These are game-changing positive developments that should put Bitcoin trading at $150,000 or $200,000 today. It's been suppressed because in the short term, this overhang of the economic uncertainty is weighing on the markets. I think if that is released, we're at new all-time highs quickly, and we're on our way to where I think we'll be at the end of the year, which is Bitcoin 200,000.
Bitcoinzilla stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoinzilla today and enjoy the new edge. Bitwise Chief Investment Officer Matt Hougan explains if stimulus checks will push Bitcoin to record highs. In this video, we discuss his key insights. Let's watch and explore.
I think it's going to be more market uncertainty. You could see Bitcoin go back to, 72,000 to its previous all-time highs. I don't think there's downside really below that. I think there's a great deal of support right there. In the long term, this good news is not going to remain suppressed. In the long term, the good news will make its way into the market and we will eventually get to where we're going. But yeah, if government officials hold the line that they're okay with economic volatility, they're okay with a short-term significant pullback in the economy, that they're not going to come to the rescue with at least more relaxed monetary or fiscal policies, then I think, volatility, we're going to chop sideways. We're all going to be frustrated. And that's the game that we're playing. But again, for long-term investors, I'm not sure it matters. Bitcoin is going to get there eventually. Crypto assets more broadly are going to get there eventually. But whether it's like a very exciting spring or a very frustrating spring could depend on what's said, later this week.
All right, so your bull case is 200K by the end of the year. You've kind of hinted at what your bear case is, but do you have a number? Where do you see us going in terms of Bitcoin price if the latter happens?
In the negative scenario? Yeah. Look, I think we could chop sideways back to all-time highs. I think previous all-time highs when we were at like 72. We saw us trade there from about March through November. I think there's a reasonable amount of support there. I'd be surprised if we went much lower than that, but who knows? It depends on how stiff the government is in refusing to respond to this economic uncertainty. But again, I go back to this core point, which there's this structural mismatch between demand and supply. The Bitcoin network is only producing 165,000 Bitcoin per year. Last year, the ETFs bought 500,000. Even if they buy half of that this year, that's more than the new demand. So there is this structural imbalance that I think puts a floor on Bitcoin that's higher than many people sort of expect. I think institutions are still moving in, governments are moving in, corporations are moving in. So there is some space to the downside, but I'd be very surprised, and as a long-term investor, very excited if we had the opportunity to buy below that, because long-term, I think the story is in. There's just too much demand coming into the market. The asset is too small.
So it really is a buy the dip case then, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, dip and rip, I think, is the story here. If we get negative news, I think it's a pullback, but I think there's so much good news that's been sort of stored as dried powder that eventually that will be released. Eventually, it can't be held down forever, right? We have to step back and remember that a year ago, we had Gary Gensler in a very challenging environment, and today we have a strategic Bitcoin reserve and probably market structure regulation. I don't think the market has priced in at all how different those two scenarios are. So yes, if it pulls back, I think it's dip and rip, and eventually we will get to where we're going. Just whether it'll be a frustrating spring or an exciting spring is probably the question in the market.
CryptoQuint CEO Kai-Yon Ju has shifted his stance on Bitcoin's market trajectory, now warning that the bull cycle may be over. Citing on-chain metrics, Ju expects 6 to 12 months of bearish or sideways price action as fresh liquidity dries up and new whales offload their Bitcoin at lower prices. He notes that all current indicators, including near-zero funding rates, point to a market in uncertainty and indecision. This updated view sharply contrasts with his earlier outlook, when he believed that the bull cycle, although slow, was still intact due to strong fundamentals and increased mining capacity. However, not all analysts share his caution. Some experts argue that a rising global money supply and supportive economic data could still propel Bitcoin to new all-time highs. They contend that temporary volatility may give way to a rally if investor confidence returns. With Bitcoin trading around $83,000, market sentiment remains divided. The debate over Bitcoin's future continues to captivate investors, as on-chain metrics and differing market signals set the stage for an intriguing period ahead. Mixed signals keep investors closely watching market moves.
And there's a little wrinkle in the economy. The government steps in with stimulus, with reduced rates, with other ways of monetary support. We've sort of become allergic to any economic pullback, which is a natural part of the economic cycle. I think the thing that has people freaked out right now is, at least from the outside, the Trump administration is saying we're okay with a little bit of volatility. And so that monetary stimulus may not arrive in the way that it has since 2008. My core belief is that it will arrive. My core belief is that the government will blink, that we really are allergic to these economic pullbacks, that we're not set up anymore to withstand that kind of volatility. So I expect maybe even this week to see the government start to blink, maybe at Jerome Powell's press conference later in the week. But if they don't blink, if we're really going to sort of embrace this pullback, this cleansing pullback, then that'll be a challenge for the equity markets and a challenge short term for the crypto markets. I think we'll be okay long term, but I think that's the game that's being played right now.
Let's talk about the two different scenarios. So we have the Fed meeting on Wednesday. Everyone's going to be watching, like you said, for cues on the central bank's readiness to deploy stimulus. If it seems like stimulus is coming to save us from a recession, what do crypto markets look like? I know in the past, crypto markets have reacted nicely to stimulus and cheaper money. What are you expecting to happen?
Yeah, more than nicely is what I'm expecting to happen. The thing that's happened in crypto over the last, let's say, 6 weeks is there has been so much fundamentally positive news, and it's just been buried sort of in the background. We've caused ourselves to ignore it. There's the strategic Bitcoin reserve, the SEC pulling back on essentially every lawsuit. There's progress on stablecoin legislation. There's talk of market structure legislation. There was the White House Crypto Summit. These are game-changing positive developments that should put Bitcoin trading at $150,000 or $200,000 today. It's been suppressed because in the short term, this overhang of the economic uncertainty is weighing on the markets. I think if that is released, we're at new all-time highs quickly, and we're on our way to where I think we'll be at the end of the year, which is Bitcoin 200,000. So I think there's been this sort of suppression of really good news. If that suppression is removed, I think it's a coiled spring. So in that scenario, I think we do exceptionally well.
Bitcoin's recent $12 billion open interest wipeout might be the reset needed for a bullish comeback, according to a seasoned crypto analyst. The massive shakeout earlier this month has drawn attention as a natural market reset that can help sustain upward momentum. CryptoQuant contributor Darkfost stated in a March 17 markets report that historical trends show each deleveraging event has presented good opportunities in the short to medium term. Data from CoinDesk reveals that on February 20, Bitcoin's open interest stood at $61.42 billion, before falling 19% to $49.71 billion by March 4. The sharp decline came amid volatile price swings triggered by uncertainty over U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs and questions regarding the future of U.S. interest rates. As the market digests this massive reset, Bitcoin's price has retraced below two crucial levels. On February 25, it dipped below $90,000 and then dropped below $80,000 on February 27 for the first time since November. Today, Bitcoin trades around $83,400. Bitwise Chief Analyst Ryan Lee warns that with Bitcoin hovering in the low $80 zeros, more volatility could be on the horizon if the Federal Open Market Committee meeting on March 19 surprises investors. Despite these fluctuations, the market largely expects the Fed to hold rates steady. The recent open interest wipeout appears essential in paving the way for potential near-term opportunities. This reset, though challenging, may offer a fresh start for traders and investors. Historical patterns indicate a quick recovery, leaving market participants cautiously and incredibly optimistic about Bitcoin's potential rebound. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.